Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight, GameStop. They're going to turn it around again, supposedly. So, GameStop has fired its CFO and announces a bunch of layoffs as part of its aggressive turnaround plan. Yeah. So, basically, their CFO is out, and they're ready to turn things around again. I don't know how many times they try to turn things around, but, they basically promoted Diana Jaja, hopefully I pronounced that right, to the company's new chief accounting officer. She'll become the new CFO and have a starting salary of $200,000. And basically, she has eligible for a bonus if she does well, called a transformation bonus of $1.9 million. It's a lot of money if you could turn GameStop around. GameStop has been one of those companies that seems to have lagged behind the times, right? They're still a very heavy brick and mortar type company when most gaming stuff has gone digital and behind the scenes these days. It's hard to tell what's going to happen. With this stuff, you never know, right? I think that GameStop is severely hindered by their very much stuck in the past mentality. I don't know how they're going to move to the future, but from what I'm understanding is they're trying to more focus on digital things and things that are kind of garbage, like NFTs and things like that. So it's hard to say what's going to happen next for this company. There's all kinds of information in the CNBC article about, who they brought in for the new CEO last year and how he basically hired on a bunch of corporate execs. And that's pretty much where most of the layoffs are going to happen. They're not going to be in the brick and mortar stores. They're going to be in the corporate side of things. There's even information here. They're talking about doing a stock split, a 4-to-1 split. So basically, they're going to split their stocks, making it split the number of stocks to make it more readily available for investors. So if they split it 4-to-1, currently it's valued at $135.20 or 12 cents a share today when the market closed. They're going to split that 4 ways. Basically, each stock is now reduced by 4 or divided by 4, and that's how you have your stock number. So instead of trying to pay $135.12 to buy a share, you now get to spend 1/4 of that to buy a share. And they're hoping that's going to increase their value. I mean, they're valued at $10.29 billion right now. So they're not valued any chump change, but they're still stuck in the past with their very heavy brick and mortar. And most of their brick and mortar stores don't even really sell a whole lot of games. They sell a lot of gaming paraphernalia, if you will. You go in there and there's Funko Pops, there's t-shirts, there's all kinds of stuff. I wonder if video games, what percentage of their sales is video games. I mean, they got a good corner on the used market, but I don't buy and sell used video games much anymore. I'm pretty much buying full digital. About the only thing physical I buy is, my Switch games and PlayStation 4 games. And those I typically buy from online retailers and things like that. Just have it shipped to me so I don't have to go to the store. But there's a GameStop literally like just a few blocks down the road from my house. So, Shane, what do you think, man? What do you think about GameStop trying to turn it around again?
Well, when they first opened up, you take an old game, you trade it in, you get decent bit of money towards the next game. And that's the way I always did it. That's why my game collection isn't near what it should be, because I'm poor and that's the way I would get new games. And then I think their first turnaround, they're like, all right, well, we're just going to reduce the amount we give for old games. Then the second turnaround was, we're going to reduce it even more, but we won't spit on it. We'll just, take it clean. And then the last turnaround was, all right, so we're going to take trade in on games, not give you any more for it, but we're also going to take in tablets, laptops, freaking cell phones, everything. I mean, you can get damn near anything. I saw a fridge. I swear to God, I saw a mini fridge the other day, not the Xbox one. It was a GE crap one. They had up there just for that reason, for gamers. And so with this new turnaround, I expect you'll be able to take your kids and trade them in. So, you want Mass Effect 3 on 360? Boom, give up little Johnny. So, perfect trade. I think they're just like so many companies out there that need to just deal with the fact that their philosophies, their management doesn't work for the future. Plain and simple. They were talking about NFT crap a while back and Bitcoin and all that's like, guys, give it up. If you want people in that store, you got to give more. You got to reduce that bottom line a little bit to bring the people in. It will increase your overall profit. Because if they gave you a decent trade-in value for a year-old game, I would be more inclined to go back and forth with it. But like Pat said, digital is easier for us. Our group, we game share and things like that. It's just a benefit for us. So GameStop has got to find a formula that works for gamers, because when you think of GameStop, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be for gamers. But now it's just like Pat said. I mean, they collectibles and Funko Pops and all that, which is fine, but they need to focus on the gamer portion of it, because I'm not a Funko Pop guy. I've got a couple that my kids have given me from like cartoons and anime and things like that I like. But their whole plan for crap is just asinine. Brick and mortar works only if you make it work right. But I'm not going in there unless it's a great sale on, I can get some old stuff. And typically I'll go in there for 4th of July sale, Independence Day sales like that. They usually have a good one right after Christmas. Or after Cyber, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever the hell they call it. You can usually get a good sale going, buy a couple of used games and be fine. But I don't ever go there any other time. So, but that's me. GameStop is a dead horse. Just nobody's told it yet. So what about you, Nick?
Yeah. So GameStop, I don't know. I mean, they've tried this several times, and you're right, Shane. It's them just trying to make it in this this world that they clearly. I mean, they need to figure out something, right? I think really, it's sad to say, and it's just kind of going this way, especially like it's kind of the same way that video, Blockbuster and Family Videos and all these other places kind of went. GameStop probably needs to go in that direction of more of a just digital only. Get rid of your brick and mortars, and I hesitantly say that because I don't want all those people that work at the brick and mortars to suddenly just lose their job. But for the company as a whole, it might be a better go for them, right? Hopefully they can put those people into different positions, maybe in their online infrastructure in some form or fashion if they wanted to go that route. But essentially, and I would hate to see GameStops not exist, but it is true. Like, I don't ever go to a GameStop, very rarely. And just like Pat said, there's one up the road, and I don't go up there. If I buy a game, I just go online and purchase the game, and even if it's a physical one, and just have it shipped to me. So sometimes I'll go into a GameStop and I'm just really looking for their pre-owned, like anything like an older game that I know is going to be cheap that I just want to pick up or something. But I very rarely go in there. And I just don't find a need to go in there. I can find anything I want online, any type of game or anything like that. So there's no reason for me to drive by one of the GameStops. The only time I typically go into one is if I just happen to be around one, and I'm doing something or waiting for something, and I'm like, oh, there's a GameStop there. If I go to the mall, which I don't go to the mall, but if I do, and I'm walking through there, I'm like, oh, there's a GameStop. I'll just jump in here real quick. But I never buy anything. I just look around and leave. So I think it'd be better for them as a company to get rid of their brick and mortar and just be an online only type of store, right? It's surprising to see companies like GameStop, and especially when games are going to digital age, and even things like services like GameFly still being around. And still being a viable option. I guess they make just enough to keep them afloat. Clearly not enough to not have to lay off their, to fire their CFO and do mass layoffs. But they try to reinvent the wheel every single time. And every single time that reinvention doesn't work out for them. And I think, they got to bite the bullet on this and say, we basically need to get rid of our brick and mortars. That'll save them a lot of money and become a digital only storefront where people can go on there. They can, subscribe to Game Informer if they want to get the digital, they should stop mailing out the magazine and just go to an all digital magazine type thing, right? With that and their pro and everything like that. And they just be able to order their pre-owned games. Maybe they could still do like the trade-in and stuff, right? You could just trade your games where you ship them your games and they give you credit on their online store. And then you can buy your games through there using their GameStop credit, much like they do with the, at the brick and mortars. I guess the only problem is, and I'm sure GameStop can figure it out, is the, when you go into the brick and mortars, they ask you 100 times if you'd like to redo your pro membership. So, maybe just have a pop-up on their website every 5 seconds that asks you if you'd like to re-enable your pro membership. And then they'll, or would you like to pre-order the next 5 upcoming games? They could definitely automate something for that annoyance that when you go into GameStop. But other than that, I think that's going to help the company. Otherwise, if they keep going in the direction they're going, which seems to be what they're doing, they're just not going to be around anymore. So they're eventually going to go away. Might be bought up by some other company to do some other type of thing or to keep them afloat or make a comeback, kind of like Toys R Us did, right? But other than that, they're just going to get killed off, and that's going to be pretty much the end of it. So what about you, Pat? What do you think?
I mean, I don't think they're in that dire situations. They're valued at a $10.2 billion company. They're not going anywhere for a long time.
Real quick, Pat, do you know what they were valued 5 years ago?
I mean,
how much did you
it's
say
something I can look up.
Or how much they value?
They're valued at $10.29 billion. So $10.2 billion.
I'm surprised, really. I guess a lot more people go into GameStop than I think, I guess. Or maybe, I mean, they also have their digital.
Have a really good use market.
They still have their online, And I have bought in games online through their store several times. So,
I mean, I have as well. But I mean, you guys can't forget that they were saved by the whole game stunk meme thing, when they had the big investor short sale thing going on where they had a bunch of people that were trying to get in and buy up a bunch of GameStop shares and short sell them so they could make a bunch of money. And Reddit and a bunch of those people got together and basically screwed those investors over. And from what I understand, there's still a lot of those people who bought during the game stunk thing still holding on to a lot of that, a lot of those shares. So, let's see here. So,
in 2020, it was 18.84 billion.
That's their valuation, or because they're in 2019 and 2020, they were only valued at $4.72 a share.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how many times they've split since then.
That's why I put my glasses on.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how many times
it was valued at $18.84 a share.
$18.84 a share. Yeah. I mean, back in 2019, January 2019, they were valued at $5.99 a share. So they could have split.
So they've actually gone up.
Well, yeah. I mean, they could have split since then. It looks like back in January 2021, they hit their highest, which was $325, which was that during the whole GameStop thing, or was that this year? I always forget. I think that was this year.
No, that wasn't this year. I think that was last year.
So, I mean, that was the height. Shoot. And I don't know if they split. I haven't looked at that much detail if they've split their stock since then. But they're talking about, I mean, $128, $130 a share is pretty decent for a company. I mean, that's pretty decent. It's not, I mean, there are worse companies out there to invest your money in. But investors are seeing this news from GameStop as a good thing because they had a 8% jump overall when the news was released. They had a 15% jump and then like a 6 or 7% drop in extended trading. So investors are seeing this as a good thing because there was a memo sent out to employees that basically goes along saying, change will be a constant as we evolve in our commerce business and launch new products through their blockchain group. So right now, that right off the bat to me says no, bad news. But they talked about the reason for the layoffs is over the last year, they've invested heavily in personnel and technology and inventory over the 18 months to try to achieve sustainability. And they basically overextended themselves with the number of corporate employees that they hired. So most of the employees, from what I've read from this, that are going to be let go, they are going to be corporate employees, not storefront employees. So supposedly they're saying that that they're not right sized for headcount, so they need to reduce that. Today they're making a number of changes, and they're supposedly going to be making investments in the storefront still. They're making significant investment in store leaders and field employees. So basically people that work in the store and the leadership roles in those. It says they're going to share more details in coming weeks, but, and then it also talks about Mike Recupero, who was their CFO, who is leaving. It just says departing. Doesn't say whether it was mutual, but I'm sure they're like, hey, we want you, you're making too much money. We can bring on Diana for pennies on what we're probably paying you. And, that's saving us a lot of money there. So, I mean, this doesn't sound like a whole lot of, like I said, doesn't sound like a bad idea for them. They are, their stock did go up from this announcement. So obviously it's not, the investors don't see this as a worry. And so, I mean, I don't see it as a worry. So it sounds like a pretty good deal, but they're $10 billion company right now. That's pretty damn good company value. I mean, I'm surprised there's so many stores still open myself, but I will admit that anytime I do go in a store, there is people in there. I'm not the only person. So I would be worried if I was the only person in there, but I've gone in there and spent probably 20 minutes browsing through the non-gaming crap, and a half a dozen people will come in and buy something. And I'm like, okay, there are a lot of people in here. Cause normally I'm just killing time. Like Nick said, he's going to the mall with girlfriend, whatever, taking the kids to the mall or something. It's like, oh, I'll stop in GameStop. And I peruse through, and I typically don't buy anything either. Cause if I do buy it, I just buy it and I pre-order stuff from them and have it shipped to my house, or I pre-order stuff from Amazon and have it shipped to my house, or Best Buy, depending on who I feel like giving my money to at that time. And if I'm pissed off at one, I'll go to the other one or whatever, spread my money around a little bit. So I don't think this is a bad thing myself for them. But who knows what the future will hold for them. We'll see if their stock stays strong this time next year. I mean, they've had a resurgence over the last 3 years. When everybody thought they were going to die off, they basically flourished. And like I said, the whole meme stock thing basically has probably helped save them more than anything, in my opinion. But they're doing all the wrong things, in my opinion. They're still really heavily relied on brick and mortar stores. I mean, it is nice, right? If I'm in the mood for a video game, I can go to GameStop and get it typically. I don't have to worry about it. So that's a benefit of having them around, but I'm typically not last minute game shopping because I already know what I want. I keep an eye on the industry and I'm like, I'm going to get that when it comes out. And the two consoles that I buy physical games for, I know well ahead of time what I'm going to play on those. It's not like I'm looking at the digital market going, I'm bored. What am I going to play? So I don't go to GameStop and go, I'm kind of bored. What PlayStation game or Nintendo game am I going to buy? I already know what's all out on that stuff. They don't release enough exclusive games for me to miss something. So that's just my opinion. But I think this is probably a good thing for them. The investors think it's a good thing for them, and the future will tell if it was a good thing for them.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess, they just keep going. They're like the Energizer Bunny of brick and mortar video game stores.
They're like the cockroaches of the brick and mortar store, right? You just can't kill them.
I guess it's good for competition, right?
Well, I would hate to see it go.
That's what I was thinking. What competition? I don't know, but maybe.
That's true.
KB
where
Toys?
we're at, you only have 3 options for buying games in a brick store. I mean, that isn't a Walmart, I should say, as far as dedicated more towards video games. You've got GameStops, you've got Entertain Mart, and you've got the place
Vintage
that
Stock.
actually owns it.
Vintage Stock and Entertain Mart are owned by the same
there's
people.
not a
But
whole
Vintage
lot of-
Stock, all right, and they're all
Yeah,
used.
Exactly.
They do
They
sell
don't
new
sell,
games.
they don't sell these
Yeah, they do.
games, do they? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, do they?
They do.
I haven't been in there in a while.
Yeah.
I don't
Yep. They
usually
also
spend my
sell
money in
scalper
there.
prices.
Yeah. Well, Vintage Stock is a crappy company, so I don't typically spend my money with them. So, and now
I
I
try
do
not
know
to.
that they own Entertain Mart, so I try not to spend any money with those guys neither. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and now with our Best Buy going no storefront neither here in town, really, you are stuck with like Walmart, Target, or GameStop if you want to get games. And if you want to use games, then really you really are stuck with one of those three, Vintage Stock, Entertain Mart, or GameStop. We have a couple of smaller mom and pop shops here in town, but they are exorbitant prices. They have to be to stay open, obviously. More than I'm willing to spend on some games. And we have a couple of sleazy ones around town that are just really preying on people. So I try to stay away from those people.
Yes.
So
Yeah, the one here in town I used to like when I caught them scalping consoles. That was it. I won't go there no more. That's a scumbag thing, and I'm going to go to GameStop before I go to them now. That's sad.
at least GameStop sells them at retail if they get them.
Right. They might bundle them with
Damn
100
right.
different things, but still, it's the price you would pay normally. So,
Yeah, give you a couple bucks off, or they give you some GameStop store credit or something to buy it with the bundle.
Yep.
Cool.
Free issue of Game Informer.
Right. The last piece of digital print in existence will be a Game Informer. It won't be the New York Times or the Daily Bugle or whatever the heck it is. It'll be a Game Informer. That'll be like 100 years from now. That's the last piece of print media that's in the archives. It'll be a Game Informer magazine. And the last issue just came out like 3 months ago.
Yep, it'll be Master Chief freaking tactical squatting on Doom Guy or something.
the cover will be,
Right.
"Where is GameStop?"
Right.
Yeah.
The last known GameStop is at the corner of Wilshire
Next to the Blockbuster.
Yes. Yeah.
Next
The
to
last
the last Blockbuster.
They're connected now. It's a Blockbuster GameStop combo instead of
Okay,
They used to,
Yeah.
they used to do
Yeah,
that
so
with,
yeah.
was it Hollywood Video had,
and Little
was
Caesars.
it Gamers or
Hollywood
something
had
like that? I can't remember.
Oh,
no,
I know what you're talking about. I was thinking about
Game
restaurant
World.
food places.
It
Game
wasn't
World.
no,
Game World, but it was like Gamers or something like that. It was a
dang, what
game-
was it?
little store next that was
Yeah.
attached to the Hollywood Videos.
Well, and before all the family videos went out of business, they always had Little Caesars attached to them. So, all right. You guys got anything else on this topic before we sell our stocks here? Or buy more?
Nope, just good luck to GameStop.
All right. Let us know what you guys think. You guys own some GameStop stock? Are you hoping it splits because now you own more shares? I mean, still the same percentage of the company, but it makes them more accessible, right? Instead of spending $135 a share, you will get to spend 1/4 that price and buy more shares if you want. Or if you already sold your GameStop shares a long time ago, did you sell when it was $5 a share? You wish you stayed in? Let us know what you think and what you have done with GameStop stock. And do you think this is a good move for GameStop? Sounds like they're going to invest in their retail stores a little bit more and some more of their crypto and junk like that. So let us know what you think. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.